Okay.
Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. We have Razoric with us. Normally, you should have the sound. Please tell me that everything is working fine as expected. And I'll leave the chat. Is everyone getting us?
There's a delay as always.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'll stop the video as well. Normally the latency is not that big. Okay, today we're going to work on Harvester, the game that you can see here. I'm going to play it. And it's a space game that's using some steering behaviors to make the ships move, the AI, so it's a space mining game. Now, this is a prototype that Razoric here, who's with us today,
I guess.
yeah, experienced developer, very experienced game developer, worked on. And so it showcases that the AI tools that he's been working on, the AI steering framework. Let me open that new window. We have tools now that allow you to create artificial intelligence for games, especially everything that has to do with motion. So they work together with pathfinding and those kinds of things. I'll share the link in the chat there. Okay. I'm going to get to the game. What we're going to do today is improve the code. So split up some of the scenes, change some of the names so that we can more easily build up over the game moving forward. I'm going to close everything here. Go back to the main menu scene with which we're probably going to start. And we have Razoric to talk about stuff, answer your questions. If you have anything related to game development in general, he has a lot of experience working on games for different studios. He's worked as a game artist as well. And lately, he was specializing in AI, although this is not the only thing he does, but he, as a result, knows quite a lot about artificial intelligence. Can you maybe introduce yourself? I mean, if you want to give some more details, and I'll get started on the user interface, refactoring the main menu.
I'm François Belair, born in Quebec, and lately, before I joined GD Quest, I was working with Universe Projects on a game called Void Space that's currently in early access. It's a space sort of 2D based EVE Online-ish MMO game sort of thing going on, where you can mine resources and fight each other as well as drones. So I'm not sure how far along it's been since I left, but during it I worked on getting drones and AI working with pathfinding through so that they wouldn't just run to asteroids, or so that they could also follow you. And no, not quite like Harvester for the game from 1996. I just called it that because I guess you harvest asteroids.
Can you tell me? So I'm going to ask quite a few things to Razoric, to Francois here, because he's been the one developing the game so far, and so he's the guy who knows everything about the code. I'm in the main menu on the text. Can you confirm that nothing else is using the fade in and fade out functions? They just queue up tweens.
Let me open a project just so I can double check. Screenfader is just currently just called by. It's
not Screenfader. It's main menu text. It has a dedicated main menu text script.
Oh yeah, that's what you said. To replace with an animation player. Nothing else uses it.
So let's call. We can do that with a single animation then in the animation player. Let's call that fade texts. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that tween animation here and simplify it. With you have the press any key to start, and cycles to press A to start, and it's just fading between, or press X. It's fading between Xbox, PlayStation.
Different control schemes, yeah.
Okay, so do you? Okay, you put a separate text for every one of them. Let me see. You left some gaps in there. So one thing we can do, I'm going to change that a bit then, if you don't mind. What are these? Are rich text labels. I've bold. Okay, so the thing I would do here, you have a center container as well. Is that, yeah, center container. Okay, so we don't need the center container. Instead, we're going to have a regular control. That's going to serve as a container. By the way, I'm sorry in advance. Normally, if you shouldn't hear the constructions near the apartment, this mic is directional enough. But I made the stream at this time so that the guys, it's gonna be noon here, and they're going to go on lunch break. So at least we'll have at least 1 hour calm. Okay. So the way I would do this is, because we can center in the text here, container, the control node, I'm going to have some labels for, because it's always press to start. So I'm going to have the text press and to start. So there are a few things we can do. I think if I use so that the entire text doesn't have to fade as well. To start, also I'm going to use, you don't have a theme, UI theme in here. Okay, I see.
No, I didn't. I only imported the font.
Okay, so that's going to be create. I'm going to create a simple UI theme to share around the game, so we don't have to assign the font to every node, and if we change the font, it really updates everywhere. So fonts, okay, you have a few here. Let's see which one you've been using for these nodes.
Montserrat bold mainly.
Yeah, I just need to know which bold that is. Main menu bold, you called it. Okay.
Yeah, and there's the default font bold that is used for the upgrade menu, which is a different size.
Okay, so that would be probably our default font for that. I'm going to create a new theme resource there. Let's call it UI theme, and we're going to set its default font to our default font bold here. Let's give this a try if I assign it there, our theme. So with UI, you generally want to use a theme resource. You can assign it to the topmost node, and let's see the difference on the text there. I'm just going to move the text. There we go. So it's really small at the moment. It's the default Godot font. That's a bit ugly. If I assign the theme, all the nodes recursively get that font. Right? So you just have to apply to the topmost node and everything inherits from it. And that way you don't have to add a custom font at the bottom of every property here. So now I'm going to take the three Xbox A, PlayStation X. I'm renaming the textures and I'm changing the order of the nodes, and Nintendo B. Okay. Because we support all the controllers that you know you'd want to use in the game. So all right, and I'm going to change that. So, and this one is going to be, there's going to be a third label. It's going to be any key. All right. And now I can try to use an Edgebox container in there to place the labels first. Okay. And there's a trick we can use so that the space used by any key in there is going to always be the same, even if the buttons take a bit less space. So I'm going to use a center container this time, but inside my Edgebox container, it's going to contain all 4 nodes there. It might collapse if I do that. No, it works. You can see that it's automatically setting up to take the width of the largest element. Everyone, if you have questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Like while reading, we both have the page open. Take some water. Okay. And I don't think we don't have a tutorial for Android games. There was one question about that in the chat. Maybe someday, like the many things we do.
Official docs do have a tutorial on exporting to Android, at least.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we can do for the font. Maybe I do a game UI theme, and I'm going to duplicate that and do main menu theme. And well, then I would, okay, this is my OCD there, but don't mind it. I'm going to name it theme main menu and theme UI.
Yeah, I keep naming my variables in English. I mean, I try to keep in mind to swap around just sort of to meet that standard, but my brain just doesn't click for it.
Yeah, it's really, I've learned to do it contributing to Blender, because it's actually something you have to do. It's one of the guidelines for code. Hello, I'm just getting started with Godot and found the controlled UI architecture quite confusing. I was curious to hear your opinion. Did you always like it? For me, it's quite well made, so it's complex. Definitely, it takes some time to learn it. And the theme interface is like they put up a bounty to have someone remake it. So that that thing at the bottom with the edit theme menu. But besides that, I find it quite powerful, despite, it has some limitations, but at the same time, once you get the hang of it, it's really flexible. What do you think, François?
Yeah, it's the same. It's pretty much the same system that is used in libgdx and Java. It's just separated out into nodes and renamed. So you end up with a tree, much the same way. Though it is easier in Godot because you get instant feedback without having to run the product and check. But at the same time, it is kind of hard to wrap your brain around how the UI will respond. And oftentimes you struggle just controlling it. Like, things will change size and you have to figure out if it's the size you want it to do or not. So it is pretty complex to start with.
Yeah. So to add to the explanation, the thing is, the entire editor interface you see, so the scene tree and everything uses that system. So it's designed to support those kinds of, complex user interfaces where you can resize stuff around, and it supports different screen sizes. And so, of course, it's very complex. There are many options in it. And there's a question, I think, for you, Razoric. What text editor would you recommend for GScript? I think you have something to say there.
Yeah, I mean, Godot is pretty serviceable, but for my choice, I'd go with Visual Studio Code, especially with the GScript Godot Tools add-on. Like, I'm working right now on a debugger so that you can debug your script right in there, instead of having to use the Godot script editor, which is pretty nice. It's not quite finished, but I'm getting there. Otherwise, I guess if you're on Linux, you can use Emacs. That's what Nathan likes.
Yes. Here. There you go.
But yeah, if you don't want to deal with too many editors or customization, then Godot's not gonna like hurt you or anything. It works.
Yeah, it does the job. Well, there are things. The more complex your projects get, if you're an experienced developer, having something like Visual Studio Code, Emacs, but there's going to be support for Vim as well. Wasn't there something for Atom as well? Right, there's a plugin. I think.
I didn't see it on the official yet, but
I think
quite possibly.
Language servers was supported on Atom for sure. Then I don't know how big of a plugin there is. Yeah. So hi, Luc Frederic is yeah. So someone. It's nice to see you there. We've met before. That's why I'm saying that. Anyway, the built-in editor has full auto-completion, and so you might want to get that in an external editor. Now you can in Visual Studio Code. You have support for the language server with Godot 3.2 plus. You get the same auto-completion as in the editor. So that's why we're recommending it. For Emacs, there's still a bit of time to wait. Okay. I'm going to work on the animation. I'll let you animate the streamer, François, because I'm having a hard time to focus on both things at the same time.
Fair enough.
Where is the visibility? It's here. Okay, so I'm going to key. I can't key on. Yes, I can. Can I? I can't key on several items at the same time. That's something I'd like to see. Wait, why won't you key? Oh, I'm going to remove that setting as well.
Yeah, and soon enough, once my debugger is finished, you'll be able to debug straight into VS Code, and then you'll have the the active scene tree, you'll have breakpoints, variable watch, and as well as variable scopes, so you can just do the full debugging there without having to really even have Godot open if you want.
Okay, so for this cycling, I'm going to do a single animation with all 4 elements. Yeah, maybe your code was simpler there. Well, I could create an animation player for each of them with the same anim player and have them fade in, fade out. I wonder, what do you think?
Could you put the animation player as the parent of them? Would that work, or is that?
Yeah, but it's just I'm doing one animation. And I'm going to have 8 tracks, and you have to cycle the visibility kind of by hand. But although
okay,
it's gonna be.
I guess
fine.
You could have one animation per instead of one animation player. Though I guess sharing animations would probably save time.
Yeah, what I was thinking is one animation player per element, so that you can fade one as you make you can queue up animations. Although, yes, you can have, you're totally right, actually. One animation per thing, and I think you can queue up animations in the anim player. Right, let me check.
And yeah, Kevin, autocomplete did come in from 3.2. So you have to have Godot open during it. Though the $ syntax, I don't think works yet. Should probably.
Okay. You can .q. Yeah, we can queue the animations there, so that should be fine. Yeah, the twin version works pretty well actually. It's mostly the layout that maybe I'm gonna keep the code, not use the anim player. And I thought you had just 2, but indeed if you have, I didn't pay attention that you had 4 things. Okay, I'm gonna have press to start, and then the text we're going to get on ready var container, center container, and then we're going to get the node from there. So no, tween is going to be tween. Let's get the nodes. It's going to be, I'm going to go to Emacs, it'll be easier. So we're on texts. Why don't you find it? Not normal. Okay, main menu text. And here we're going to change the dollar with its container.getNode. I can have there you go. Is it good? I think it's good.
It's probably good.
Okay, should work out of the box. I've toggled the visibility off for everything. Let me check if that's correct. How do you cycle visibility? Didn't change much. No, it's not playing. So let me see. Modulate. You take the color. Okay, the target changes. What do you call the fades already? Let me check. In main menu. Screenfader.fadeout. Screenfader.fadein. I didn't change that code. It's weird. For text in text, total time calls. Okay, so you call them, fade in. Okay, I see. You do it there. It's going to be elements, let's say. Five matches, well, the next 2. Match the case, and there we go. Okay, so it calls fade in, fade out on everything. And, okay, that's why you get the total time. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, for delay.
Yeah. So that's how you create a
And
queue.
the tween is set to repeat as well, so...
Yeah. Let's see where it's not playing. So, go from modulate from white to transparent on the individual elements. How did you toggle visibility there?
I don't think I did.
So you changed the modulate by default instead?
Yeah, so
Like
I
you
was
have them
only
all
changing the modulate, so it would go from transparent and then it'd still be there, just transparent, I guess.
Yeah, I see. I get bugs. Get node not found. Containers, the center. It's because I renamed them. I'm stupid. Excuse me for that. Yeah. It's true that Xbox A, PlayStation X, and Nintendo B, and that's it.
We could add it to the to be considered list for making RNG and board game mechanics. It's probably a fairly simple thing to figure out because it's mainly just using the random number generator, but a quick tutorial on seeding and predictive RNG could work.
By the way, can you mention the question again on stream? It's for people watching in replay. So the question
was, do you plan on making any tutorials about dice rolls, RNG, or other mechanics related to making Godot 2D board games in the future? So it could be something to be considered.
It's really weird. Why is this happening? It's saying that the objects I'm passing to the tween are invalid.
It's because the fade in and fade out still expects a rich text label.
It's the type hint. Okay.
So it's probably coming in null because of that.
Yeah, I'll just say control then. Yeah, because you had the node as a child of the... Okay.
Yeah, I was fading the entire...
yeah, I see.
The entire text.
Wow, although instead of... Okay, and it's not cycling now. Why did... What... I have to check.
You have to set repeat.
Okay. Well, with that, I think we're done with the main menu. I've messed it up enough. Alright. So I'm going to commit as I go. Okay. Going to... So I've added theme resources with default fonts for the main menu and the game UI in general. Then I'm going to say we refactored the main menu. Okay, and that's done. I'm going to push that, and in the meantime, this is done, and well, this is done. Game UI rename. I noticed in the main game that so the map thing, the viewport container first. Is there any need to access? Can I save it as a scene, like separate scene, and rename it? The viewport container. It's not clear that it's for the map, so it's like
yeah, it could be renamed and scened.
Okay.
It doesn't really get accessed. Besides connecting to a signal.
Okay, so I should have viewport. Okay, that's it. If I look for viewport container in the project, yeah, that's the only place. So map viewport, map view. Do you mind if I call it like that? What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
And map viewport, I think can call then just viewport.
Though one thing, it might need editable children on so that the map texture rectangle can access it.
Map texture rectangle, does it reference?
Yeah, it should reference the viewport itself because it's a viewport texture.
Okay, good. I'll just, so map view will have a viewport, so I'll call it just viewport. Let's see if it's somewhere else. No, perfect. So that way the game should still work. Okay, the map. The map is really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah. We could make a Minimap tutorial for that. What do you think? Would you guys be interested in that?
I do have a quick little demo I made and posted on Discord about showing a minimap. But something more formal could work.
Wait, did I break something? I think you were using an icon to replace the character, right? So now I think it's not showing the map. Probably.
No, it's just zooming out right now.
Texture must be set to get size. Okay, get node not found. Viewport container, map viewport. Okay. but I don't find it anywhere. Viewport texture, path to node. Ah, okay, so maybe it's this one. I think you link to the viewport node, map view / viewport. Okay. Hi Sebastian, you're welcome. Yeah, okay, it's working now. This one, I think we need to activate MIP maps on some of the nodes. So let me go see the coin SVG file. It's in, crap, what did I do? I click the...
Can you tell me a good tutorial to learn Godot, please? As a beginner tutorial, if you check GDQuest channels, there's a 1 hour series on learning from the very beginning.
5 hours, man.
Okay, well, you get the entire thing then. But yeah, you can start there and learn from the ground up.
Allow me to show you something, because we made also a guide for beginner, like it's a complete learning path with only free resources, has some of our tutorials, but not only. We found tutorials from the community that are going to teach you Godot. So I can show you the page here on screen. It's going to explain what's Godot, how to get started with game dev, creating your first games, becoming more independent in your code, and going further. You have, again, only curated resources there. It's completely free. If you're a more experienced developer, you have experience with other game engines, you can use the second link I'm giving you here, Developer Edition, which is like, it assumes that you know how to use a code reference to learn and those kinds of things. So the coin, MIP maps, do we have them here? Where was it already? MIP maps, and let's see if it does a difference. It should. Yeah, they're a bit blurry. Let's see. Wait, can I keep you on top? That's like, the wind here is something else. Sometimes during the day, like, it's like super strong wind. Can I change real time? Does it make it? No, it doesn't reload, right? Let's see, MIP maps and anisotropic filtering. It looks horrible. So what is it that we have to change? I have to re-import every time. Okay, so no MIP maps. Just looks the same. I think it has to do with anti-aliasing then, maybe?
Yeah, it pretty much doesn't do anti-aliasing by default,
okay.
I think.
Yeah, so
it might need to be set to pixel perfect, maybe in the project settings.
Well, the thing is, pixel perfect gives you that jittery movement if you have sub-pixel movement, so very smooth movement. Quality MSAA, was it?
Yeah,
I love this music.
multi-sampling anti-alias.
8 times? Should be fine. Computers are powerful enough for that. Doesn't apply to 2D. Still looks like really aliased here. Everything. If anyone knows about that, how we can improve the rendering quality. So maybe on the video you won't see it because it's compressed, but you have aliasing on the map right now. And it's because the map takes some sprites from the game, but it downscales them. So we could, of course, make some special sprites for it, but if there's a way to get it for free.
One idea would be a FXAA shader. That would clean it up automatically.
Yeah, it's around the edges of polygons, they say. Smoother edges. No. Okay, so it seems it's only for polygons. It seems to affect the ship icon. The ship you draw it from directly from Godot?
No, it's an SVG. It's from the art guidelines from GDQuest, one of the spikes.
I mean the one on the map, like the triangle.
No, it's an SVG as well.
Okay.
It's spike.svg.
Okay. Well, uh, do we have texture 3D, bitmap, image? Yeah, okay. We're going to leave it at that. So map view, I leave it like that, or do we take, what if I save the branch as scene? Let's see. Common map view. If I do that, does it break the game? No, so everything seems to, it kept the link, so all good.
Okay, good.
The upgrade UI we'll see later. Quit confirm as well. For the world, I want to save the parallax background. What do you think? Is there anything there? I think there's no reference to it.
One thing I noticed is that when you full screen, the parallax is too small and you end up seeing the edges. So it could probably change to a tiling rectangle instead.
Okay, it's inside the parallax, so it's the background that does that. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use texture rect then. Well, I'm going to commit changes one at a time. So what is it? Yeah, okay. So save map viewport in a dedicated scene. All right, then we're going to change that. So change the type to texture rect. We've just done that in the platform demo remake. So if I put it, the problem is if I try to put it full screen, it doesn't work because we are in parallax background. I didn't make the tiling already. Let me open the Godot platform demo. No, it's going to be applications, demo, projects, 2D platformer, and let's first, I'm going to pull the latest changes from there. Okay, nothing else. I'm on master. Ah, yeah, it's because it's upstream. Ah, okay, would have been surprised. There was nothing new there. So let's see, in the level I had parallax background, save to a scene. Levels, okay. Yeah, I see it, I remember now. Okay, so it's set, like you can't have it repeat indefinitely automatically, so it can be a bit tricky there.
Yeah, there is on the texture rect, there is a way to have tiling on expand.
Yeah, but we can't use that too easily actually. That's the thing that's a bit of a pain. But anyway,
it's rect position instead of just...
Yeah, we just need to make it very big. Or I can remove the background is just black. So we could change the default. Well, no, in the editor it would change the clear color as well. Okay, the stars are not big enough as well. Or are they good? Let's see.
Stars are the ones that clip actually. So we need to add a couple more on the edges, I guess.
Yeah, it's with the light on my screen. I have sunlight right now, a bit of glare, so it's a bit hard to see. Okay, so we're just going to add 2 more sprites on the side. Why is it snapping everywhere? Okay. I really want to start to learn a bit of C++ and start contributing to Godot.
Yeah, it's a cool language once you get it going.
Okay. Yeah, It's funny because in some ways it seems very complicated, C++, like the number of features that are available. And at the same time, the source code of Godot seems very, I would say simple, but it's in the sense that they don't use, at least until now, they didn't use too many language features. What do you think about that?
There are some decisions they made regarding C++ features that I don't really agree with. For instance, the use of auto. Not sure exactly why they don't really like it. I mean, their GScript language uses var, so it's dynamic-ish, but it still uses static typing, so I don't know. It's weird.
Actually, they talked about it live. They discussed that at the Godot in Poznan, because there was some persons who were saying around that. I don't remember the explanation, but they were showing some concrete examples like Auto, where it made the code harder to understand, to read, and to maintain. And they were like, we don't want that, so we might allow, like we have to discuss it more. We might allow very specific uses, but basically the general idea is no, we don't want Auto. Auto sets the type of the variable automatically. Is that like the type inference in GScript?
No? Yeah, basically it's like using in GScript, it's var with type inference, except you also get it automatically. So when you do auto, the compiler will automatically replace it with the correct type.
Okay.
So it's, for some cases I can see it, why you wouldn't want it. But at the same time, if you're going to have a for loop or a for each loop, let's say, and your auto, instead of typing auto, you have to type my super long class type every time. Yeah. It can make it look kind of ugly.
I see. Well, if you have something like does it, and so the types work still for auto-completion. Well, I guess it's C++, so the tools are certainly very advanced for that. Like even if you use auto everywhere,
it's still static typed. It'll get replaced by the compiler itself at the end of the day.
Okay, but even then, for you in the editor, you have full like information about your code. It doesn't tell you just that it's auto. It tells you that, I don't know, it's a vector or it's a variant type.
Yeah, at least in Visual Studio, it'll let you know what it is or what it expects it to be.
Okay, yeah, because if it's the kind of notation from GScript where you have call and equal, for example, vector2, you know it's a vector2. But
yeah, I know C# in particular, which started with an auto, basically it's var. It would be pretty smart about knowing what type it's supposed to be. Though it's always possible for it to make a mistake or not know exactly if you have a very weird, like if you're trying to auto out of a JSON object or something.
I see. There's another thing that I remember they mentioned. It was more general, but there were some things, like some bad practices they wanted to refactor and change in the whole source code. But then they also wanted consistency throughout the code base. So could that be a reason they want to avoid auto? Having to basically go back.
It's quite possible not wanting to refactor the entire thing. Like you open one class and it uses static types. You open another and it uses auto everywhere. It would get kind of confusing to read, especially when the classes interact.
So I've saved the Parallax background to its own scene, added more stars for when we increase the window size. I'm just going to move some directories, and I think for saving things, it's fine now. What did I notice? I think the map directory I would rename it to Minimap, if you don't mind, because map can sound like level. You know, I know that it's named world in the game, but sounds fine to you? Okay.
Yeah, sure. The directory structure could probably use some love as well.
Yeah, that's part of the things I want to change better now than later. We have a common directory, but we only have one game scene. So do you think the game would ever have, like, it's procedurally generated, so it's like there would only be one game scene and not separate levels?
Yeah, that's more likely. I
So
could imagine more advanced systems where you have a subscene or something where you can like wander around your ship. That'd be like super far in the future.
for now, I think I would move those to world. What does the world script do? Okay, it seems to do quite a bit.
Yeah, the world script is basically does most of the setups for world objects. The game initializer kind of passes the information along.
Guns.
It's a bit
sorry.
split between the two of them. It probably shouldn't be.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'll do a ships directory for the player enemies, and I'll put the guns as well in there. Oh, I love all the errors you get every time you move something in Godot. Sometimes you have to check that the game's done.
Automatically fixes them.
Yeah. Docking point minimap in common. Minimap I would put in UI. Okay, it's maybe because I have some scenes open. Don't save the latest changes. Docking point, I'll move it to world, and ship, I'll move it to ships, and we can remove the common directory. So guys, changing the folder structure is part of your source code, and when you're working with a team, it makes it easier for everyone to browse the project and find things if you maintain it over time. So communicating is very important. Talking with your teammates, does it make sense if we move this there? Those kinds of things. So pop effect, I'll move it to a what do we do, a VFX folder? Seems good to you?
Yeah, that's probably where I put it.
I'll ask probably Henrique if he starts working on visual effects to move that. The UI.GScript goes to UI. Pop effect, let's put it there. And it's not bad for now. The world has docking point. I'll make a new folder for spawners, I guess, because we have 3. Background styles is in the world. Game initializer, what does it do? It initializes the game. Who would have thought? Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of code to go through. I might not do everything in this stream. Later we can maybe move on to doing some work on the game, because otherwise it might be a bit long. Are you watching the stream at the same time? Do you see the video?
Yeah, it's off on the side. There's a delay, so
Yeah.
I have it on mute, or otherwise I'd get confused.
Okay. Yeah, you need to have it on mute, of course. The directory structure seems good to you. Base, autoload libraries, ships, UI, utils, VFX, world.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's broken down pretty well.
For now it should do, I guess. Okay, we had one extends docking point. Yeah, is there a reason you use direct path to the classes instead of registering them with class name?
Mainly because I wasn't looking to have them in the add node dialog.
I see.
But I guess it wouldn't be that big a crime if they did.
Yeah, it's just, do you want to keep them like that? The main advantage of class name is when you move stuff around, it doesn't break every place where you use the paths.
Yeah, may as well make them class names.
Okay, so I'll go docking point. And
could be nice to have a tag on class name that lets you not have it show up in open dialog. So, though at the same time, it'd also be nice to be able to have private functions, but whatever.
Yeah, don't dream. Oh, you can try to talk with Nen. And he's the maintainer for GScript. I mean, you need to have a good point for all those things to be able to convince people. And right now, I know that with the Epic Mega Grant, there's quite a bit of work that's gonna go on GScript. So, and on 3D and all, but he's funded to work like full time on it. He wants to add some functional facilities. He's gonna add some, first class functions and all. It's great. Signals as objects. Like the things they've showed lately, pretty great.
Nice. I'm gonna look forward to it.
Geez, I keep typing like space PS or those kinds of things, like save all the files in the project or.
A while ago, I was working on the framework. That was before I had demos. So to save, I have to remind myself that it's Control Alt S.
All right, everything seems to be working. After you refactor your folder structures, guys, or people, there might be ladies as well here, although it's quite unlikely. There aren't too many around the Godot community. Unfortunately. You want to test the game and the different features, because it might be when you load a path or something like that in your code and you don't necessarily remember about it. You want to double check that everything is running. Also restart the project, because as you can see, here is my Git interface to save changes in the project to the history, and by restarting the project, it re-indexed all the scripts and found like it changed some references. So it's important to do that. Refactor on the directory structure. That's a big commit. It will seem like I've done a lot of work, but actually no. Just move things around. Okay, what next? Let me see my notes. Map related stuff, map viewport, animation player and map texture. What was it about? Oh yeah, I think it's fine. It's because I was saying map texture as well. You have a tween. Start, not map up, yield visible equals false. Yeah, that kind of code. I mean, it's better to do that at the beginning. Let's see, map texture is the map view. No.
The texture is the actual display of the map.
Okay. Maybe I'll rename
It's basically a
that as
render
well.
target.
Map texture. There you go. So let's try with an anim player. Right now, is it invisible or is it modulate?
Probably
Okay.
transparent.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay. So we're going to start invisible. We're going to have an animation player that's going to okay, so what do you have there? Swen toggle map. Okay, I have one toggle map. So appear, disappear. Well, I'll make the appear animation and then we'll do the disappear one. So we're going to have a modulate key starting transparent and invisible. And so we turn the visibility on in that animation, and we're going to modulate from transparent to white. And people, would you be interested in live streams and videos related to contributing to Godot? So doing some contributions and showing that, and maybe, well, a tutorial about contributing to Godot would be a bit complicated because it can only we can only go over the surface, like the process maybe, but Also, we can't teach you C++.
And
yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, there are so many courses. We can maybe, however, suggest a great C++ course to get up to speed contributing to Godot. But also show, go around the code base a little bit, those kinds of things. Let me see, do you do something other than that?
Yeah, separating modules from core, from the editor, from etc.
Man, you are bigger. Why does YouTube block some comments sometimes? It's like, come on, you don't have to do that. Toggle map up, map transition time. So we're going to remove that from game initializer and unheld. Okay, so toggling map is in the game initializer right now. Does it need to do...
Yeah, because it's outside the world technically, so that's probably where I put it.
Ah, okay, it's in that.
It probably should be either on map itself, though yeah. I guess I needed some way of...
you change map
Yeah, I'm not sure why, actually. I have it on Initializer.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, it's part of the jobs and the joys of the job. It's also that you have... there are quite a few places. It's probably what you were saying about the older implementations, where you had this... you have some booleans that you don't use anywhere.
Yeah, back then it was the main camera would zoom back to 0, in the world, and then that's where the camera map lived. But then I changed it so that the camera map also followed you. So that boolean kind of disappeared.
What do we have? Remove unused map up, move... move toggle okay. Yeah, this will be easier. So these kinds of things are a bit like what we did on OpenRPG back in the days. You work on the project, you add lots of things, and you really have to take the time to go over your code to rethink everything. And you can see it as taking a lot of time, but then it's going to be so much easier. For example, we're going to bring probably Johnny and or PigDev, Henrique, on the project. And for them discovering the project, it's just going to be much easier. And the thing is, you have to measure this across project, the cost, to see how much time you lose having to re-explain the code to people, having to re-figure out yourself how the code is structured. And if you don't do that refactoring, you end up wasting a lot of time. The fact that Godot is open source always makes me want to try it, but I'll try it once I have no longer working projects in Unity. Just you can take 1 hour. You open the docs or the guides we had linked to before, and you just follow the tutorial. That's trying it out.
Yeah, and converting a Unity project to Godot would be a good exercise.
Yeah, if the project is small enough, I guess, because
I guess you huge game, an entire game, but.
Mustafa was asking, are you using Linux? Yes, I am. Our sinful Razorek here is not.
Yeah, I'm Windows.
And a subsequent question, which OS do you use? So this is Linux Pop OS. Let's see, settings. No, I don't have it. Where is it? Well, anyway, Linux Pop OS. Derived from Ubuntu or Ubuntu, but it's optimized for developers, let's say. Where was I at? I forgot completely. Yeah, map texture, removing the tween, doing the animation here. I wanted to see if you were doing anything other than that. Start, map up. I think toggle map would be like you don't have any parameter. You also made it as a private function, but it's called from outside, so... Well, let's see. Sorry, but why do you use void? Consistency would just put the return type on every function. You actually get it that way with when you generate documentation. So we have a tool to create documentation for GScript projects. That way it shows you that this function does not return anything, which is something that is really important because, you know, you look at the documentation and you go down to the methods and you have the return type on every one of them. And I have that thing because I got that comment several times, like this is not useful or well wasting time or something putting the types, but it really documents your code. If you didn't have all these return types, it would be hell to use Godot. So we do that because we have projects that grow in complexity, and it helps also everyone who's going to come and contribute to the projects. Any developer who has some experience is going to understand, okay, I can just call that function, but it doesn't give me any information back.
Yeah, and if you try to put it assign a variable to the result of a function that returns void, it'll give you a warning message about it. Well, if you didn't have that return void, Godot would assume that it's possible it will return a variant type.
Yeah. Okay. Above visible equals true.
Is it possible to set mandatory static typing? Not currently. It's and I guess just by the nature of GScript, you probably shouldn't be able to, because sometimes you do want a variant, even if you want to use static typing.
Yeah. Yeah, there are times where the dynamic code, it's like with Python. Well, with Python, it's really, it's not at runtime. It's when you write the code that does the checks with MyPy. But sometimes there's code that's just so much easier if you can accept any type and you use duck typing. That, like, I've had an example. I don't remember what was exactly. I think it was on the GScript docs maker. I had code that would be very complicated with the types because I had to cast every value to a different type and those kinds of things. And with duck typing, it's as long as everything has the same properties or the same functions accessible, I could just gather all the objects with one function and one line. I could process them all together instead of
in an object-oriented setting, we'd use interfaces for that. But in the dynamic language, we don't have those. So we have so duck typing replaces it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go there to do that code. I wonder how you re-index the project. I seem to have an issue with that. I'm going to, I guess, open the project sidebar. What the hell? Sorry.
Did you break my project?
Okay, things are working here. Let's see, so UI, Minimap, and it's map texture. Okay, so I'm going to increase the font size for you people. Tell me if it's too small, although I have to move that up as well. Anim player is going to be animation player. Do I have company mode? Yes, I have it. It doesn't use company cap, I think. Normally I should get auto completion. Well, it's fine. So toggle map, I'm going to change it in the entire project. I think Player ship has a toggle map function as well, and player camera. Well, I'll have to
see. Yeah, I guess it does. I'm trying to remember my own code.
I'll write down.
I think I have it so that I can control whether. Why is it on player ship? Trying to remember. Oh, for the remote transform. There we go. That was back when update position would be turned off because I want to center the map, but then I got rid of that, so now it's just useless.
Okay, I see. I wonder if maybe I shouldn't work from there today, because I think it's missed one reference. Let's see. Game Initializer. No, it's calling toggle map. Why are you not finding it then? Project search, and I don't see. Right here. Okay. How do I filter? No, I can delete the line like that. This is not the tool I used before here, so how do I filter lines? So maybe occur. Okay, I can jump to the file with control space. Great.
He is using Emacs.
Yeah, and I changed the system I use to do search in general, and so it's a bit okay. Anyway, I just have to change that one, and it's going to be in map camera. Yes, no, it's map texture. Wait, map controls, toggle. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know exactly the side effects.
NetherLab Games pointed out that you're at 99,900 subscribers.
Yeah,
and you could head up to 100K on stream.
Let's see that. Let's have a live YouTube counter here. Let's see. That's funny. We are at 100 a day lately. And right now we are, this is a live subscribers count. Yeah, it's literally 99,900. All right. Well, not during the stream. Okay. So I wanted to, well, I guess I don't want to break the interface, so map up, boolean equals false. Let's, well, no, don't want. Okay, if map up. Yes, it's delete inside indent. Okay, there we go. Change side indent and anim player dot play. It's going to be appear. That is way too transparent. Else. Interesting. Okay, so that's all good. And what do you do? Ah, yeah, so I don't need that either. Yeah, it's going to simplify the code a bit already. We have Ben here, Hard Beast. How are you doing? It's been a while. I saw from afar that you were doing that ARPG project. You seem to be doing well. What's the next plan? Okay. Well, thanks a lot for the donation, Salam. Okay. Have to duplicate the animation. There's nothing else. Jeez, it's... I don't know why after a while on the stream I get a bit tired and dizzy. Like, harder to focus. Okay, so visible is gonna be false at the end of the animation. Well, I guess it's jumping.
You're so used to working without the internet.
Yeah, it's true. Whoa, this is working well. I did not break everything. Perfect. Gonna finish up. So Hard Beast is working on an action RPG series. Can you talk a bit more about it? You can link to it in the chat. There are a few, well, it's not a lot of people, but there are a few persons up. So if you want to learn to do an action RPG, you'll go to his channel. What else was it doing there? Was it due to the yield? No. I broke something, but I didn't get any errors either. Well, I'm not going to whistle, it's going to kill your ears otherwise. Okay, let's see the changes down there. So toggle map. What's happening? So toggle map, was it used? Tree call group, map controls, toggle map, map up. It's fading in and out. Do you have an idea why or how I broke the thing? How I broke your code?
Oh,
the
no.
map is not zooming anymore, but I didn't touch anything that looked like zooming. With Z, I'm going to stash here and go back to the game to see. Yeah, not that. I want to open the game directly. It's not necessary to... It's not... Ziban is asking, is the void necessary? So it's not.
Yeah, but it is good practice to have type safety. Like, it'll make your code more robust. But yeah, you don't have to use it.
All right. Okay, I'm not crazy that this is only interpolating, so it's probably in changing the function names that I broke everything. I don't know why.
It could be the call groups, maybe?
Yeah. Okay, I'm popping the stash and I'm going to... Thing is, that was the map transition time, but we don't need it. I didn't change the groups. Well, the thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep that one change and I'm gonna remove those ones. going to find game initializer again and remove the last argument, then go back here. And maybe, so I'm going to keep that for now, reopen the game. Is it possible to make big rich games in an engine like Godot with all due respect? Yeah, sure. Depends on what you mean by that, but professional games, sure. You have some, which games can we show for an example? Like the thing is, you won't make a AAA game in Godot, most likely, because the engine is not, like the editor is not designed to work in a team of 100 persons. So you'd better use Unreal for that. And as a result, you won't get a game made by 100 persons in Godot. But a team of 10 to 20, I think it could work really well, and you have several companies on it. So there are some products. There's one that's unannounced, but there's a really big company working with Godot right now that I can say, so with a very big budget. Then you have some games like Ben Hickling, who's working on a game like Star Fox that looks amazing. You can see Heartbeast here. He's published, I don't know, maybe you won't think of it as a big game, but it's a professional game made by one person. If you're still around, Ben, you can link to your game. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but he made it the end of last. No 2D pixel game, but with rich gameplay and lore. Yeah, that it's a question of content, so sure. But sure, you can do it.
Yeah, nothing stops you. Like Godot is not going to prevent you from making a game that looks, feels, plays like either AAA level game or has lots of contents and lore like Dark Souls or something. You just have to, you can use, it has all the tools you need to import data, apply data to objects, display data, and be part of your 2D pixel game, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, M is not working, so I broke it completely. Toggle map. Yeah, refactoring live like that is actually quite hard on stream. Okay, so map transition time. What did I do? If map up, play appear, else play disappear. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to resort to the infamous breakpoints.
The animations in Harvester, the animations are done in
Okay, makes sense.
in code mainly.
Okay.
Oh, Hard Beast. Okay, yeah. "2D stealth game? Yeah, there are some. You can look at what is it called? Something Inc.
I don't know. I don't know what I broke.
Invisible Inc. There you go. That's a stealth 2D game.
Made in Godot?
No, but it is. But it's one of those big games that got pretty popular. It's tactics, and you're a set of agents, and you break into corporations to steal data.
Yeah, sure. Invisible Ink by the it's by the creators of Ninja. Yeah, I see which one it is. Yeah, but I think Yusuf was specifically asking about Godot, right? Would be possible in Godot.
Then yeah, nothing's going to stop you from doing it. As long as you can code it, Godot can do it.
Yeah. Geez, I don't know how I broke the thing. There's a yield here, but that's just to turn visible to false. So I have that in the animation. I changed the tween to an animation player.
You want to push to a branch and I can look at it?
Yeah, let me just check because I really don't see. Modulate has a different default animation. Yeah, I really have no idea. Map repeat, did I break some of that, like the viewport texture? Did it have to keep aspect or something like that? Okay, the default state is warped as well. Yeah, it just doesn't zoom back. Maybe, okay, I think I have an idea. Because when you use the call group, you call toggle camera. You actually have it as well in other places, right? I toggle map. I'll go to the place where you do that. Yes, they expect a tween time, actually. Timer.start. Toggle map tween time. Aha. Yeah, so I'll have to... Okay, that code is going to take a bit more to refactor. So I have to...
Any plans for a WebRTC networking tutorial in the future? There's work being done on WebRTC, I think, sponsored by Google. So maybe when it's finished, we can look at it.
Sponsored by Mozilla.
Mozilla, sorry.
Stuff.
It was sponsored by someone, I know that.
No problem. Tutorial on web. It's on the web might come. We have a company who might be interested in sponsoring that, so might have something. I don't know if WebRTC, but we'll see.
What can Godot do or do well that we can look forward to being updated? It has some shortcomings right now that are being worked on. For instance, its particle system could probably use some love. It's still using OpenGL as of 3.2, but 4.0 will have Vulkan, so it'll get a big rendering pipeline upgrade. So that'll be something to look forward to. And as Nathan pointed out, just the style of the way the scenes are built and nodes, you can't really have 100 people working on the same project without a lot of conflicts. So that's something that will be a bit limiting if you want to work on a big studio on a Godot game. But for a small pack of people, yeah, it's perfectly functional. As far as gameplay features, there's not really much that Godot can do. There's some stuff that it'll hurt in performance, like if you're going to procedurally generate a level constantly, you might need to step into C++ and work with GD native. But otherwise, Godot can probably do it, even with a bit of massaging.
Okay. I have to go back. Was it to game initializer? Okay, I'll do this in 2 steps. I'm going to leave the game in a slightly broken state. Well, it's not broken, but just a bit. Where was it?
Epic Games why Epic Games gave money for a company of Godot. Why? Epic Games has a grant system which they award to people who will advance 3D video game graphics. And since Godot is working on a Vulkan renderer, Epic saw fit that they fit the bill and they give them a grant of money so that they can help develop their renderer better. But it has nothing really to do with being entitled to Epic or having to release something on the Epic store or anything. It's just a grant. It's a donation to further afield.
Yeah. In general, the founder of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, has always been into tools and to, how can I say, he has that philosophy where he really wants that kind of competition and pushing the game. The Epic is a company that really makes a lot of money. I mean, Unity and Epic are worth several billions of dollars each. Epic might be making more money than Unity now with Fortnite and, I don't know, but so they can really put a lot of money on the table. It's in general as well it's really good for their reputation, as a company. The shop they've made that's a bit disrupting with Valve and the status quo with Steam. It's changing a bit, those kinds of things. Recommendation: making a Godot game jam at GDQuest. No, so the thing I want us to do is not create our own event, but contribute to an existing event. There's the Wild Jam that's really interesting with Godot, where they have a certain design, they have some special cards you can use like constraints to your game. I told the guys already that I was totally up for helping them. They just have to message me in advance, like with the next jam is that day, can you help us with communication or something. I'll have to make it clear with them because I'm not sure. I'm not sure they got it. They didn't message me for the last jam. For me, it's like, yeah, we can make a video on the channel announcing the jam and saying that we're participating and getting people in. So that way it grows a bit.
Another one that could be fun would be Game Maker's Toolkit as an annual game jam.
Yeah.
So which has an interesting themes to it. So that could be a fun one.
Okay, so I see what I was doing. It's just the functions that call in different places. You need that map duration value, so I'll need to change that. I'm also going to maybe save map texture now as its own scene, because otherwise its anim player is going to pollute the on top of that map texture. I would say minimap display.
Will Vulkan break the OpenGL light limit? Currently, I think for light 2Ds, there's a limit of 256 lights and 16 per node 2Ds. I'd have to look through the blogs to figure out if there's anything regarding lights for 3D objects. But it's probably going to be more generous than OpenGL, yes.
Do you see future on Godot? What do you say? Does Godot have a future?
It's picking up a lot of momentum these days, so I think, yeah, it has a very bright future.
Yeah, totally. You're seeing already like large organizations since a few years sponsor Godot. Has sponsorships from Mozilla, from Microsoft. There are some companies that use it, like Gamplify, that put money on the table every year. Now you have IMVU, big American company that made IMView or something like that. Something that's virtual chat, something along those lines. And they've been funding a lot of features. So yeah, you have quite a few, and you have smaller things. You have projects like us, like have several companies like working just around Godot. I mean, us, we're not game developers exactly. We make demos, tools, a bit of game development, and we really make a living now around Godot. There's also the company from Van Pizza, is it? He's been hiring a few persons from around the Godot core contributors, and yeah, he's providing consulting support for the game studios that switch to Godot. And he's been hiring because they have enough demand that he needs people full-time to do that. or at least he needs people.
Unity is certainly extremely solid as well. I'm not sure if I'd say Godot is better than Unity exactly.
Yeah,
They're
no.
they're about. I think Unity is just more mature because it has a ton of resource and professional funding already in it, so it has the legacy behind it. But Godot is catching up very quickly.
Yeah, I would say also, Juan already posted about that. It's that they are not catering to the same types of audiences. And I should say bonjour, hi, welcome to the stream, everyone. And the thing is, Godot is really optimized for small teams, individuals. Unity has already grown into something that's more for, I wouldn't say huge teams. It tries to work for everyone, but it's, if you're working alone, Godot is really nice for that. Even saying will be better than Unity. I mean, again, it's, even if it catches up, it's, Unity is evolving fast as well, and they have a huge budget, and I think it's in the thousands of employees. Unity, it's a huge company.
Yeah, that's for the size of a Unity export.
Yeah,
is going to be a lot larger than a Godot export.
totally. But again, like for example, Ben saying that, so Hardbeast here, that he likes how lightweight Godot is. Again, Godot is made for individual small teams, so it's completely optimized for that. It's going to start up fast. It's also free and open source project, so the engineers and the developers coming to give their time on it might have slightly different priorities than a big corporation that has to make profit and to answer the needs of big companies. So when you're an individual working as a hobbyist, you double click on Godot, you want it to open quickly, you get a bit of game dev done in 30 minutes, 1 hour, and Godot was fast from the beginning, but we've really had people improving the startup speed of the editor since it was released. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's like 3 times faster now. It was taking 2 seconds, now it's taking a split second to load on Linux. It's so you have people who will come and do those kinds of things on free software projects that you might, it's not their concern in a big engine that they just deploy in the company once. People arrive in the morning, the computer is already running with the engine on, and they're going to have the editor open from like 9 a.m. to, I don't know, 6 p.m. or something like that. So
another advantage that Godot has is that it feels a lot more stable with the features it does have than Unity. Like there's on the Unity's issues forum, there are bugs from years ago that still haven't been fixed.
Map texture. Yeah, I need to also change move map texture, no, rename it to was map display.gd. Okay. I feel Unity has evolved out of its current niche and is more often alienating to small developers. Yeah, it also has grown. There has been a point where, really, as an indie, you had like you wanted to do professional work several years ago. You mostly had GameMaker, Unity for the game engines were fully fledged editor, and it's now you have Godot and you have some things like JDevelop and some tools growing, but yeah, several years ago it wasn't the case. And I mean, Godot version 1, like 5 years ago, it the editor wasn't too great yet. So still for quite a while, people have been coming to Unity, learning Unity, and the company has been developing a lot. So it's very mature. So it has a lot of visibility. It has sponsored content creators as well, Unity. So, there's a lot that makes people come to it still today. And Godot will need time also in the reputation, the learning resources and all to catch up. For people to get to know where to find the resources and who to point to as well. Okay, it's been 1 hour 30 minutes now. It's been a little while. I don't know. I've not made a lot of progress in the last 30 minutes, so okay, this is done. The game UI main menu done. Do I stop here and we do a bit of work on the controls? Honestly, I'm feeling a bit cloudy, so might as well have quite a few persons here. End the stream? I don't know. Do another one soon? What do you say? Are you still here, Francois? Oh my god, my bad. I think I've quit. Yeah, did I quit Discord again?
You went silent for a bit.
Oh jeez. I'm so used to working offline that normally I hop in on Discord, I answer the team, and then I quit and I'll turn off the internet. So I'm so used to pressing these keys that I just quit and I completely forget about it. Yeah, I was saying I'm getting a bit cloudy now, having a bit of trouble making progress. So I was thinking of closing the stream, maybe doing another one another time to work on improving the game.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
What do you think? You want to stay some more?
No, I mean, I'm good with if you want to take a break. I'm certainly not gonna hold you back, or hold you by a chain.
Yeah, it's mostly that next I need to work on the next course again. Are there some... Discord never crashes here on Linux. It's very stable. I've never had a
problem on this Windows either.
Okay.
I guess
It's
I'm
even
just lucky.
saying crashes every 10 minutes, but here I've never had a crash from Discord, I think. Okay, everyone, are there some more questions? And if not, we're going to close the stream for now. And seems the internet is stable here, so... Hey, is Godot not show string in VS Code? So, Shohan, can you clarify your question or problem? Okay, not too many questions so far. Next time we can work on improving the game feel. Maybe, I don't know, have...
Godot is free, royalty, you don't pay a dime. It's free as in beer, free as in freedom. Free.
Yeah, so it's free software in the sense of freedom. You have access to the source code, you can redistribute it and all those things. Then you don't have to pay anything to the developers or whatnot if you make money on your game as well. Your code is your own. No, you don't have any way to show us if you have a problem. Live stream is if you have a problem with your editor or code something, it might be better to ask on Discord or on a community channel where you can share a screenshot then. Okay, but with that, we are done for now. And do you have anything else to say, Francois? We have a
not
few.
Really. Besides exporting to consoles, it can, but because consoles SDKs will have proprietary code, Godot is not allowed to distribute them. So you'd have to get them made themselves or find a studio that specializes in doing that work.
So real quick, do you have any published game? No, because we mostly do education. Heartbeast here in the chat has a published game on Steam made with Godot. N-Hall, right? Was it the name? Sorry, I spend so much time on games and all. I skim through Twitter, so I tend to forget things. Is there a way to check if a node is the instance of a certain scene without using class name? Try get class. So I'll have to check, but get class or get name. Name. Like some of the properties check. I don't think there's an is instance thing.
You can do is, but you need something to compare it to.
Yeah, the thing is, it's about checking that the instance is the instance of a packed scene, basically. That's what I think. So if you look at the packed scene results, let's see what it has in there. Bundle can instance get state pack. You can check that is packed scene. Okay, so you can say. You can try, I'll write in the chat, so, no, but if you have an instance, it doesn't work. No, the thing that you have to do is something like that, so preload path to GScript file.gd, and then you can, like, constant my type, and then you can check node is my type, like so. You can do type checks like that without having to register with class name. I exported an APK from Godot, APK. I can't install it. Yeah, sorry, Christoph, but it's gonna be hard to help you there. On top of that, we haven't done too much Android development yet at GDQuest.
I used to do mobile, but from Unity, so I haven't really looked at Godot's implementations.
All right, we're going to close the stream for now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Francois, as well. It was nice. Next time, I guess we can plan working together at the same time, like on different parts of the game, like we said. And you wanted to add these things to the flux of samurais, the flux of pirates, and I could do some stuff on, I don't know, the ship or those kinds of things.
Yeah, sure.
If you're fine with it.
And no, Youssef, Unity and Godot are super different.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'll stop the stream now. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.